It's been said that America doesn't fight wars. Americans do. The ideals of the nation are manifested in the courage and sacrifices of its citizens. Sacrifice was a well-known word in America during and well before World War II. The Great Depression was still very real. Nazi Germany was on the march. Japan was a looming threat. And in Buffalo, New York, a young man named Stu Headley was looking for adventure. He would find it in the United States Navy, on the battleship West Virginia, at an idyllic Hawaiian port named Pearl Harbor.
It was about 5 minutes to 8, I guess. All of a sudden, the word goes out over the loudspeaker, away, fire and rescue party. I ran on topside. Planes were diving from every angle. And I dove under a gun tub, and here's Lieutenant White shooting away with his .45. He said, "Son, where's your battle station?" And I pointed up to turret 3. "Get up there as fast as you can." As I was going up the ladder on the port side, here come a torpedo plane down the port, and I saw the pilot, the co-pilot, and radioman laughing like everything. But those 50 caliber machine guns were spitting their bullets everywhere. And we felt the thud of a torpedo. The ship lurched, bam, there went the Arizona. Our ship was on about a 15, 20-degree lift. Ensign Sears was screaming for us to get over on the Tennessee. We're watching the Oklahoma capsize. I landed on the deck of the Tennessee. Where do you think this idiot was going? I was headed right back up into turret 3, and a Marine lifted me off with his foot. And I asked him, "What do you want us to do? Get over on the beach?" I says, "How? Swim, you idiot." Fire was as high as the ship. When I come to the surface, I thrash like mad to get the fire, oil, water away. And that was the hottest breath of air I ever breathed in my life.
By 8:10 a.m., just 15 minutes after the first bomb fell, the main battle force of the Pacific Fleet was crippled.
From the NBC newsroom in New York, President Roosevelt said in a statement today that the Japanese have attacked the Pearl Harbor.
I'm a relative kid at this time. Grew up in an isolated, wonderful little area with good education and go to the beach every day in the summer and all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, the world changes. So I just signed up, and then after a few months of taking courses at Cooper Union, I said, "Hey, give me active duty."
For young Linc Ward, the war had just begun. Stu Headley's war continued. He would survive a series of vicious battles aboard the cruiser San Francisco as American resilience began to tell. On the home front, the nation's latent industrial might had been unleashed, a force inconceivable to its Axis enemies. By 1943, while enemy war production tripled, America's had multiplied by 25 times. In San Diego, the population doubled as war defense plants expanded. New names would become familiar to generations of San Diegans: Solar, Ryan, Roar. At Consolidated Vultee, almost 7,000 B-24 bombers would roll off local assembly lines, 11 every day. The war would engender a profound sense of purpose, and in many cases, repurpose, across the entire region. Vast infrastructure would be built to support a burgeoning military presence and create the foundation for San Diego's post-war growth and present-day success. By 1944, 20 million American women were working, a 57% increase in just 4 years. Wendy the welder and Rosie the riveter would help produce everything from tanks and trucks to 40 billion rounds of small arms ammunition, all put to good use. D-Day, The invasion of Hitler's fortress Europe. 500 Americans will die on bloody Omaha. Within 2 weeks, 40,000 more are casualties, one every 47 seconds. But fierce determination propels American momentum.
D-Day shifted the whole focus of America to me, but from an East Coast standpoint, the Pacific was a long ways away. Our efforts were trying to help rescue some of the Brits who were trapped up in parts of Holland and Belgium, and then the Battle of the Bulge area, and then breaking through to around Eichweiler and Weissweiler and that part of Germany and all the way through to the Elbe River.
The war in Europe was over. But the celebration in San Diego was muted. There was still a job to do.
We were then sent down to Marseille, France, to go over to Manila to prepare for the invasion of Japan. I was thinking some words that I won't express to you. There was a state of mind at that time with most of us. You never thought you were going to die. If it was going to happen, it would happen when you're thinking alive, and you want to get the Japs and get it over with. So we're 2 or 3 days out, and all of a sudden, the ship made a violent turn from going like this to going like that. And at the same time, now hear this, now hear this. The destination of this ship is Newport News, Virginia. World War II was over. The Japs surrendered. Several of us went to our bunks, grabbed our rifles, disassembled them piece by piece and threw them in the ocean. We were done.
16 million Americans served in World War II, supported by millions more on the home front. All gave their best. More than 400,000 gave their all. They had come from across the country and put their lives on the line around the world. Thousands departed from this very pier, where the USS Midway, a symbol of America's freedom, is birthed today.
We were bounded by a common goal. We collectively cohesed to try to arrive at that goal, and we achieved it.
Tonight, representing the millions of Americans who served and sacrificed during World War II, both at home and abroad, we are proud to honor Stuart Hedley and Lincoln Ward with the 2015 Midway American Patriot Award.